Not available in every state. Based on the national average annual savings for new home
Where in
insurance
the
customers,
world did this thing
this
come
all
from?
state and reported savings. Savings vary.
This is a special notice to U.S. taxpayers owing $10,000 or more to the IRS.
Where in the world did you come
Relief
from?
Advocates is urgently notifying taxpayers.
I had to move you someplace
tax relief
safe.
Initiatives are now available that may significantly reduce or eliminate what you owe. If you're afraid of
Where in the world you come from, dude?
or wage garnishment, don't lose hope. You can now take advantage of these current relief.
You are way out of place. You go find a bucket, take you somewhere. So I got him in here, and I'm gonna take him up the road here to a swamp, close by a little swampy pond. Be a whole lot more better for you, dude. I don't know where you came from. I hate to shake you up, but you ain't getting up out of there. Trying to muscle his way out of the bucket, trash can. Just give me a few more seconds. I'm gonna get you to your new home. You are definitely in a bad spot now. Oh, come on, dude. What's up, everyone? Welcome back to the channel. This is your host, Simon, and this is Grant's Lawn Care. I'd like to welcome everyone back to the channel on this lovely 8th of April, Tuesday. And we are out here with another property. And you're going to have to forgive me for saying we, but I, since I'm solo, I am back out here with another new property that I picked up. And it's a wide open property, you know, very little trimming. You got the ditch, you got around the actual home and the barn that you can see in the video here. And that's it, but wide open, you know, got the hydraulic sticks pushed very forward, and I'm wide open across this field. So let's dive into it. I usually ask you guys a favor, but I've said that enough times in all of my videos. At this point, you know, it's your choice on however you decide to stick around and support my channel. If you do, I greatly appreciate it. If you don't, hey, that's fine and dandy as well. So this is going to be a part 2 continuation of some conversations that I had with another lawn care provider, also a YouTuber. And like I made a comment in my last video, you will see him in my comments without me giving a shout out. So I'm going to continue that today. So I'm going to ask you to just stay tuned, enjoy this oddly satisfying mow on this new property along with me. And I'm going to chime back in here in just a few moments, and we're going to kick this baby off. Let's waste no more time. Let's dive on into the topics, and hopefully you take away some things from what I'm about to speak on and apply them to yourself, and you know, share it with someone else if you think it may help them as well. So let's dive into it. One of the things that comes back to mind from our conversation on the phone was the bigger you get on your social media platform, and I don't want to just put YouTube as the only thing, but I just want to put social media as a bubble, as a whole. You're going to attract trolls, you're going to attract the haters, you're just going to attract some people that just want to get on your channel and just bring a disturbance. You know, that's just the way it comes. When you're doing good things, you're going to find people that just for some reason or another want to take their thumbs and bring hate towards your channel. And the discussion went along the terms of the way the individual that I was talking to handles it. He laughs it off. Pretty much he told me that he welcomes that type of, you know, thing to his channel, you know, in less words than more, because it means you're doing something out here. You're doing good. And one thing that I've heard and I've witnessed it, you in my short time on this earth is there are a lot of people out here that some want to see you do good, but there are a lot of people out here that do not want to see you doing better than them. And when you get on your social media platform and you can make the most positive post or share one of the best videos or whatever it may be, someone somewhere that you don't know, that don't know you, is going to have some type of pushback, some type of negativity towards what you put out here. And we who are providing this content, the bigger you get, the more stronger your armor has to become when you are being introduced to these trolls, these haters, because they're coming. You know, they may not have made their way to your platform yet, but if you keep growing and if you keep doing things that a lot of people are finding positivity from, somebody's going to find something wrong with it or just have to voice their opinion that was unsolicited. I seen a post on Instagram a while ago, and it was a cup of water, and the caption was along the lines of, people will get mad at just this piece of a picture of a cup of water. And sure enough, you know, a lot of people were poking fun because they found the post relatable and true, but you know, you got the people that started commenting, why is the glass half empty? Why is the glass half full? Why you got it in that type of glass? Why is the water not colorful? You know, all kinds of different comments that were on this post. And a lot of people, like I said, were poking fun because they were just making fun of the quote of the picture. And it was like, people will find anything to nag about. So it's just like, the more we grow in this social media world, the stronger our armor has to become when it comes to dealing with people that just don't want to see you doing well or just want to have some type of opinion about something you're doing. I've had that before on one of my channels. I think it was on a video or two in here that somebody's made some comments along the lines of, you know, I didn't even ask you for that type of opinion or solicit that from you. Like, you could have kept it to yourself, type of deal. And I just keep going. And, you know, I'm sure the more I grow, those type of people are going to attract themselves to the channel. And, you know, I was told in the phone conversation that they don't even block them. They just, hey, I'm doing something great, and just for one or two people or whoever comes on my channel to hate or spew, you know, negativity, man, block them out, because the positive is going to always outshine the negative stuff that comes to your platform. So I'm hoping something came out of what I just said. I'm trying to get this out here in a tone and a point of view to where you can see and hear what I mean when it comes to the bigger you grow on this platform, any platform, you're gonna run into trolls and haters. You just have to mentally be prepared for them. So I hope you take something away from that, and I'll chime back in here again in just a moment. So something else I brought to the forefront when I was out doing my advertising and trying to gain clients in the past, I made a comment during the conversation about a certain neighborhood that I went in, and I pretty much tried to saturate that neighborhood, you know, putting cards out and, you know, hanging things on the mailbox, little flyers on mailboxes. It was a new neighborhood, nobody had quite moved in yet, and I let him know that, hey, I didn't get not one client out of that whole ordeal. Like, no one contacted me. And my thinking was, okay, well, I tried. But my open thought process wasn't there, because the return answer that I got was, yes, you advertised and did what you were supposed to do, but maybe at that current time, the folks that you advertised to are people who were possibly going to move into those homes, they didn't need that type of service right now. They weren't looking right away for a lawn care provider. So once that was made to me, that comment was made to me, it hit me. You're absolutely correct. So I say all of that to say, you know, I didn't get anyone out of that whole neighborhood, not one customer. But I pass by there frequently, and I see other lawn care providers in that area. And I can also see people that have their own lawn equipment in their backyards. So I'm saying all of that to say, hey, you can put forth effort, but sometimes, as the comment was made to me, sometimes people just aren't in that market for lawn care right now. So don't let one neighborhood that you go in that you don't acquire discourage you to keep from trying. Because I could have kept trying, and I did gain clients over time, but that was really an eye-opener when he told me that, hey, they may not have been in the market at that time for lawn care services. So just keep that in mind also. Another thing that comes to mind that was discussed was, you know, I think we all can agree that we hold back to an extent on what we share on, and I'll speak now on YouTube. We all reserve some form of what we go through on a daily basis. And I'll speak for myself when it came to a certain topic, because honestly, I just felt like it would be something that no one really would find interest in. And the point that was made on the conversation, you know, I was given a background on, you know, pretty much who I was. You know, this is the first time talking to the guy. You know, we feed off each other's YouTube platform, comments, and everything like that. But this is my first time having a one-on-one conversation, you know, via telephone call. And I told him how pretty much I got into the lawn care game. You know, I explained, you know, my transition from a full-time job, going to 100% lawn care, transitioning back to a 100% full-time job. And I was like, man, you know, I could tell my story on what I went through and why I am where I am today with being full-time in one job and lawn care being a part-time job. But I was like, man, I don't think nobody really would be interested in that. And in return, his answer was, man, tell your story pretty much. You know, you'll be amazed at who actually would want to hear your transition. You know, and I got to thinking about it myself after the fact that, you know, there may be somebody out there that's another me that is wondering what it would be like to transform from a full-time job comfort to 100% entrepreneur, then going back to a full-time job while still trying to run a business of your own. And there are a lot of stories across the YouTube platform that share that, but mine's, you know, may not be much different from the next. But me being, you know, and I'll be open here, me being in the first responder lifestyle full-time, you know, there isn't a whole lot of time of, you know, downside that I'll have in between each job, because if I'm not being a first responder, I'm out here trying to run a lawn care business. So I'm juggling two things, you know, pretty much at once. And, you know, one pays bills, the other one pays bills. But now that I'm doing two sources of income, you know, running my personal business and a full-time business, you know, the aspect of, you know, just like I said, sharing how that's working for me, a lot of people would like to know. Because if you know right now the daily ups and downs of a first responder, if you don't have any in your family, I'll be the first to give you the inside scoop of it. A first responder lifestyle is just always on the go. You know, if you don't take a vacation, or you somewhat try to get away from being a first responder for just a period of time, you know, that's just your lifestyle. You know, I do full-time part of being a first responder, and I also volunteer being a first responder. So it's like I'm on call 24/7. So there are plenty of times that I'll be out trying to run my personal business, that an emergency call will come in and I'll have to stop what I'm doing, go help somebody else who's having a bad day, try to mitigate their problems, then come back and try to finish doing my personal business, which is lawn care, and keep it moving. So I don't want to dive too deep into that right now. Like I said, I'm going to probably do a bigger video on this transition after this conversation that I had on the phone. I'm going to probably bring you all together and share that story on from where I started at point A to point B when I went into lawn care, to now, again, point C, excuse me, which can boil back down to point A of being back in first responder role full time and also running a business. So that'll be another video. Hopefully you took something away from that topic right there, and I'll be back again. So just to skew off course just a little bit from the phone call, and just talking about an experience that I ran into today, an experience that is, very common. It's not like it's the first one to ever happen, but, I was approached by someone who was passing by a property that I was doing shortly before I came to the one that you see here in this video, asking me, hey, can you mow my property? I'm about to move at the end of the week, and I would like to have the property moved. And I've seen this property a dozen times or so because I mowed the property directly beside it. And I was like, yeah, man. I said, well, I'll tell you what, I'll get to you by the end of the week. I said, because right now I'm slammed. I have to get these properties knocked out that I already have scheduled for today and be ready for work by a certain time. He was like, yeah. He was like, man, I understand. He was like, well, just, let me know. Like I said, I'm leaving Friday, and I want this yard to be, taken care of, before I leave or whatever. And I said, man, well, tell you what. I said, I can do the property, and I can send you some before and after pictures, showing you, hey, it's completed, and we can talk about payment then. And he was like, man, he said, you don't have to send me any pictures. And I was like, what do you mean? He said, I see your work right here. He said, it looks great. And I'm saying all of that to say people are paying attention to what you are doing on these properties. This guy never met me, and the family that lived in the house before him moved, I guess, at the last part of last mowing season up until now, because that's my first time cutting the property since last spring, summer, up into the winter months. But this guy was living in it up until now, and now he's moving. So I've seen the property, several times, but he said, you don't have to send me any before and after pictures because I see your work. And I'm like, in my mind, I'm like, wow, okay. So my goal is to get back in contact with him by Friday and let him know, hey, if you still want me to take care of the property, one-time cut pretty much, this is the price, and I'll get it taken care of. So I'm saying all of that to say this, don't feel obligated that you have to jump immediately right then and there when approached on a job, especially if you have a schedule already planned out. Because I know that one yard would have taken me at least 2 hours to do everything that needed to be done. For one, it was overgrown. For two, it was fenced in. For three, there was a construction party that was about to take up the entire road in front of that property, and I would have had to work around them trying to make sure I get every single thing taken care of. So all in all, I'm boiling it down to say this. Sometimes you just have to tell them, I can't get to you today, but give me a day or so and I'll get back with you. get the contact information, get whatever you need. So once you touch bases with them again to see whether they still need you to do the job or not, at least you've made that connection with them and let them know, hey, I see you, I heard you, and at this time my schedule is open enough to where I can come and take care of you. But I will do my best to try to get to it, but if not, hey, that's okay. But that just goes to show you that people are watching, paying attention to what you're doing, looking at your details that you're leaving in somebody's property, and that can lead to you a new customer or whatever the case may be. Who knows who is moving in this property after this guy moves out, that he can leave them my connection, and that can be another potential client for me. So as I've always stated in my videos, keep doing good work and it'll pay off. So in closing, thank you for everyone that has been showing the channel love and support. Thank you for, your kind words and telling me, pretty much that what I'm saying or what I'm bringing to the YouTube platform is, entertaining or helps you out in whatever way or form it is doing it. I want everyone to continue doing that and, just help support the channel. But I'm going to go ahead and wrap this video up. Y'all be safe out there. Keep the blades turning. I will catch you guys on the next one. This is Simon from Grant's Lawn Care, and I will catch you guys in days to come. Be safe. We got you where we're going to release you at. Ridge, swampland. You can thrive and live on. Put you out way over here, away from traffic, and you can go on about your day. I'll just call you the firehouse turtle because you were right there by the fire department. Enjoy your new nature scenery. There's a whole swampland and everything else for you to go thrive in a little bit more of a safer area. Catch and release of a turtle. Go make some new friends, pal.